Why is housing so expensive? The hot housing market has more companies and corporations buying up single-family homes. They're known as institutional buyers. Elizabeth Ruiz shows us how they may be adding more obstacles in the search for affordable housing.
I cried a lot, sitting around here at night, just having to come to terms with the fact you don't have a house, you can't go home, you can't have a shower when you want.
Claire Murphy has been living in this camper for 2 years in Frisco, Colorado.
It's more than just not having a shower. It's feeling unsafe, feeling unsettled.
Her boss lets her live on the property where she works because she can't afford to buy or rent a home.
Rents are more than 50% of my wage, and that's just not feasible.
While there are a lack of new properties being built across the country, Claire says that's not the issue in her area.
There's 20 apartments being built, but we'll never get to see them.
The problem is, she says investors are buying them up.
So what chance do we have?
The Biden administration recently laid out some initiatives to battle the housing crisis. Among the list is ensuring that more government-owned housing and other housing goes to owners who live in them or nonprofits who will rehab them instead of large institutional investors. Matt Emery with the National Association of Realtors researches the impact of institutional investors.
An institutional buyer is a buyer from Wall Street or a hedge fund or someone outside the scope of a traditional buyer. These are not mom and pop investors. These are investors that are buying homes and communities on a large scale and looking to make profits from them, either from turning them into, short or long-term rentals, or buying homes and flipping them and putting it back on the market.
Matt says these investors tend to focus on certain regions, often places where many people are moving and where rents are growing fast, so they can get the biggest return on their investment.
We're sort of seeing a concentration of them going in the southeast, a lot of states down there, Florida, Georgia, but Texas is actually the one that they're most targeting right now. There are a few other states like Ohio and Utah.
However, he says institutional investors buying up properties is only a small part of the housing crisis. And for change to happen, Matt says the recommendations from the White House have to move through Congress.
We're going to need some of these big swings to fix the issues because I don't think the market's going to correct these on their own.
In the meantime, Claire says she isn't giving up on finding an affordable place to call home.
We don't stop looking. We keep looking, and we just hope that as the weather changes and as the season changes, something will come up.
I'm Elizabeth Ruiz reporting.
Thank you, Elizabeth, for that reporting. So people are developing properties, but fewer are making affordable housing. That means rent or mortgages plus utility payments are less than 30% of a household's gross income. People who pay more are considered cost burdened and may have a hard time paying for other necessities like transportation, clothes, or food. But our next guest is changing the game by building more affordable housing options with design at the forefront. He's worked for decades to transform empty lots and rundown buildings into safe and beautiful housing like you see on your screen, close to schools and parks and other services in the Chicago area. Peter Landon is the founder and principal of Landon Bone Baker Architects, and he joins us now to talk about his work in affordable housing. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm well. We're really excited to have you here because, this, of course, is affecting millions of people like who we just saw in that story. And I know that your mantra is good design is for everyone. Why is it important to have aesthetic, well-designed, affordable housing?
I think it's really important to have that because it gives identity and, a place in the world to the people that live in this housing. A lot of what we do has got various subsidies to it. It's sometimes called low-income housing, affordable housing, subsidized housing, all that. And there can be identity issues with that. And what we really try to do is do the best we can to make it be housing and not all these other acronyms or whatever, so that people can live in it and feel proud of it where they live and feel like they're part of this same world that everybody else is part of.
Affordable housing can still be out of reach for a lot of people. Why do you think that's the case?
I think the real problem is that what we call the missing middle, and that there's subsidized housing and then there's market rate housing, which is generally pretty high end. And this middle is the real challenge for people because, gentrification pushes people out, and the reason people leave is because they can't afford taxes, they can't afford all these rising rents and the amenities that come with these neighborhoods that are expanding, becoming more high end, and that, there's something that has to be done about that to try to give relief to the people that are already there. And then just the cost of buying and either building new or rehabbing a building is, like everything else, is exorbitant these days, and it's almost even worse with housing. So it's a real challenge.
Well, as you mentioned that, I mean, how do buildings like yours make housing more accessible to everybody?
I think that what they do is they give choices to people to be able to stay in neighborhoods, either by rehabbing existing buildings or building new infill housing, and sometimes can be big, like that photograph you showed of a rendering of a current project.
Yeah.
And we really try to make it so that people that are from the communities can stay in those communities, and then try to give choices and options for them.
Why aren't projects like yours more common?
Well, because it costs a lot of money, and to put that money together and to try to get federal and state and local subsidies really that go together takes a lot of overlapping. It's called layered financing, and to get all those layers to work together takes a lot of effort, a lot of legal time, a lot of developer time, and it's just a lot of work to do it. It's one thing if one developer is able to get some investors and have some money and then just do what they want to do, but when you get subsidized housing, you have layered financing. All the different layers have their requirements, and to try to meet all those requirements and get it done on a quick time schedule is virtually impossible. But we just keep working at it and keep chipping away.
Well, before we go, I want to walk through one of your projects, at least with you, so we can see how you reimagined affordable housing. Can you take us step by step through the Lucy Gonzalez Parsons Apartments? I know we have some pictures on our screen. Tell us about this property, what it used to be like, and how you changed it.
Yeah, this is in a neighborhood that's gentrified considerably over the last, say, 10, 20 years. And then it was essentially an underutilized parking lot. And there was a community process managed by the city and Metro Planning Council that really identified what should be done. And on the whole, the group that participated in that, which is local, decided they wanted affordable housing on the site. So a developer was identified, and it turned out it was a developer we'd worked with a lot, and that they asked us to get involved in the architectural program. So we looked at the program requirements, the site, what the conditions are around the site, and the goals of the community and the residents and the developer. And then we started working with codes and technology options for how to build a building. And we tried to respect, you can see on the right, there's a green space, push the building back so that it would give a little bit of room to the more residential street there going off to the right. And then the street in front that's going left to right is a more commercial street. We have retail there. Yeah, I
mean, it's just incredible to see those images. It's absolutely beautiful. And, of course, I'm living here in Chicago and know the community quite well and all the neighborhoods. And it is awesome to see something like this, a residential property that has that mixed use, that you have that neighborhood feel, but you also have commercial business that you can just walk over and grab a bite or whatever ends up opening up there. So, Peter, Landon, thank you for joining the Y and walking us through what it looks like to have a vision come into fruition that, offers people that choice for affordable living. So thank you for that.
Thank you very much.